So that's how I would make these circles. But we also have this empty circle here. So I'm going to drag this down so we can see it. Great. And I'm going to show you guys really quickly how I would make this cutout circle, because I want you guys to do this as a challenge. So let's click Control while we're over our ellipse circle, and we can name this Circle 1. Now let's hold Control and click right over this square, and that's going to select the entire layer, and we'll get that marching ants around the circle. So we need to create this empty circle, and it looks as if it's about 1 pixel. So if we come up here to select, modify, and hit contract, it's going to take those marching ants, that selection around the circle, and it's going to contract it by however many pixels we select. And we're going to do 1 pixel. There, you'll notice it's smaller. Now with the circle layer still selected, all we have to do is delete the content in here, and we'll have this outside white circle. Okay, so when you do that, it says could not complete your request because the content of the layer is not directly editable. Anytime you see this problem, and you'll see it if you're ever trying to edit text, the problem is that the layer is not rasterized. So if you come up to Layer and come down to Rasterize, click Layer, and this is just going to rasterize the layer and allow us to edit the contents. There. Now if we select Delete while we're on our circle, it's going to leave this. And there you go. We've just created the elements for this. Now we've done something similar to duplicating content, and there's no sense in building all these buttons. What I would do is create one of these, and I'm going to create another circle, holding Shift. There we have another white circle. It's going to call it Ellipse 1. We can change the name to Circle 2. Doesn't really matter. And instead of just drawing all these circles, we can use Control or Command J while on Circle 2. Make a copy of it. Grab our Move tool, which we're already on, and hold Shift, and then drag this to the right. And it's as simple as doing that again. Control J or Command J to duplicate. Move tool, hold Shift, drag to the right, and then that lines up. And before we edit any of the text, let's scroll over to, sorry, we're zoomed in at 1000%, how I would go about making these shapes. And we're going to introduce, for the first time in this section, using the pen tool. And the pen tool is a great way to select a bunch of different points and create a shape, just like that. Now I'm going to step backward, okay. Oh, I'm going to step backward twice more, okay. And we're going to use this pen tool to create this really quickly. And I'm going to even zoom in further to about 1500 because I really want to see these pixels exactly. And this is cool. So let's create a new layer. And I'm going to call this Direction. And we're going to use this point tool, and we're going to select this very corner pixel. Great. Now if we come up to this corner and select right in the corner, we can get exactly where we need to be, and down into this corner right of this last pixel, and into the corner of the middle pixel, and down again. Now we've just made an exact shape of this item. And to make this into something that we can fill, if you click inside, right click inside, select Make Selection, and don't give it a feather radius, keep that at 0 pixels, anti-aliased, and New Selection, and click OK. There, now we have these marching ants that we've seen time and time again that we like to fill. So with this new layer that we created, Direction selected, we can go ahead and fill this with our foreground color, which is white. Put it inside, fill it, and let's go ahead and use our move tool, select Control or Command D to deselect, and drag this there. We've created an exact replica. I would probably do something similar to recreate this battery. I may use a rounded rectangle tool, create this entire rectangle, and then use the same practice we used to make the circle that was cut out, and then use the rounded rectangle tool again to fill this in. So a little challenge, I want you guys to pause and make this entire status bar, try to copy it, and when we come back I'm going to go ahead and make it myself just so you guys can see how I did it. And just remember, there's no right way to do anything. As long as it looks good, as long as it looks, in this case, the exact same, it doesn't really matter. What we're trying to accomplish is, you know, the look that they have here. So, and I'm going to continue to encourage you guys throughout this course. If you think there's a better way to do something and it looks the same, if not better, then do it that way, because there is no right way. Similar in programming, you know, as long as you get to the solution, it doesn't matter how you got there. Now, there could be more efficient ways, and I encourage you to try to find those efficient ways. I try to use those efficient ways myself. So go ahead, pause the video, and come back and join me in a second, and we will continue to replicate this. Oh, one last thing. Before you do pause, the font that they have used for this, the AT&T LTE, and the percentage and the time, that is going to be Helvetica New. And the AT&T LTE is light, the time is in medium, and the 53% is back to light, and that's for the weights. And the size of all of these is going to be 35 pixels, so make sure that you use those sizes because that's going to fit perfectly.